Hey, folks, it's another episode of the Gary and Mark Show, and I'm Gary.
And I am Mark.
And we're coming to you, well, we're not live.
No, we're not live, but we are live.
We are.
And this time it's really different.
Yes, we're Skyping.
We are. And neither one of us has much experience with this.
No, you could almost call me a Skyping virgin.
And I'm only slightly ahead of that, whatever that might mean.
Yeah.
The people might remember our last episode. I'm sure you can see this, where the camera is. Yeah. Where is a crazy camera?
We're social distancing.
All right. So we're even more social distancing this time.
Yeah, probably 25 miles as the crow flies?
Maybe less than that by the crow, but as far as the road goes, I'd say probably is about 25 miles.
Yeah.
So I'm down here in Columbus.
And I'm up here in Hendersonville.
Right, and we had to leave everybody in Watershed back at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, they want us to make sure we're distant from them a whole lot.
They're fully sequestered.
That's true. And in a small town, it's probably easier to do because everybody always knows everybody's business anyhow. Well, Gary, as always, we've got a few shout-outs.
Yeah, we do.
And I'm going to start with one, if I can find it here.
Okay.
It's got Danny Moore. He's listened to us a bunch, and he's commented a couple times. But he watched the last episode where we were social distancing for the first time on your porch outside, your deck. And so he said, we got this a few days ago, Danny Moore just finished listening to this guest-packed episode. Remember we had the mayor of Watershed on and our lawyer and stuff. My salute to you both for continuing to enjoy a locally brewed beverage, even when your sponsor's taproom broadcast venue is not available to you. Just goes to show that even during a crisis, we all can maintain at least some standards.
Hear, hear.
Hear, hear. We are trying to maintain standards.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you have one, I think. I'm not sure if you have it.
I do.
Okay.
I have a letter here. Hi, Gary and Mark! ! That's
good.
In these crazy times of COVID-19, it is sure nice to settle back in my home and listen to your podcast! ! I
like that.
Puts my mind at ease and makes me feel much better every time I listen. Thank you! 3 exclamation marks.
Wow.
And I want you both to know, after much thought, I've decided to take the chance and get a timeshare at Rabbit Island Resort.
Well, and she's not too late because a week from now, a month from now, they could be gone.
They could be. So let me know the particulars. Keep up the great work. Your friend, Emily Nussdorfer.
Wow. Finally,
now,
someone wants to buy something.
And there are more exclamation marks. Now, the fact that she happens to be my sister-in-law has nothing to do with us getting this wonderful fan mail. It's just...
That is so true. And it seems like all the fan mail we get are from people we know.
That are still alive.
That's true. So we urge people who know us through the radio here or through the computer, wherever they're hearing, that you should send us some fan mail. Okay?
Yeah.
Gary and Mark Show at gmail.com.
Right.
That's our email address. Gary and Mark Show at gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you.
And if it's snail mail, we've got the wipes. We can wipe it down.
That's true. Wait a week and read it or, wipe it down.
Yeah.
And, it'd be hard to match Emily's use of exclamation points.
She's an enthusiastic person.
She is. Yeah. We have one more shout out.
Hey, okay.
And so to be fair, I'll say this is someone I know as well, but I haven't seen this person in decades. But a guy named Daniel Cameron, he says, so has anybody wondered why Angel Soft is the only game in town? Talking about toilet paper. Would nobody buy the stuff before? And so there were warehouses and warehouses full. Even the name sounds fishy. There's something nefarious afoot. Americans should be concerned. Gary and Mark, what says the Academy? And I did send them a reply, and my reply was, the Academy ruling is unanimous. Take what you can get. Don't question the angels.
Right. And it's probably not made from angels.
I hope not. And I'm going to tell you, to be honest, that's the brand I personally use.
Yes.
Because we are on a septic tank, and somewhere I read that was really good in the septic tank for decomposing.
Right.
And I can tell you it doesn't take a lot of wet on that toilet paper before it starts decomposing, even before you're ready for it to decompose.
Before your very eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's great to get those shout outs.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So, we're going to see in just a minute if we can bring in one of our Gary and Mark Podcasting University professors.
The guy in Arizona.
The guy in Arizona, Dr. James Moore. Moore. And so we're going to take just a quick break in a second and try to get him on the, actually maybe a little bit early. I told him it'd be about 15 more minutes. So we'll hang on to old Jim. We'll get to him in just a minute because I have no idea if that's going to work. So Gary, posting day is April 15th.
Yeah.
Any history today other than...
Oh, gosh. I'm glad you asked that.
I'm glad. Okay, good.
Well, on a somber note, on this day in 1865, Lincoln died. He was shot on the 14th. He died on the 15th.
Wow. I knew it was April, but I did not know the date.
Yeah. And April, of course, April is kind of a big month as far as American history. Gosh, you go back to 18th of April in 75. Hardly a man is still alive who remembers that famous day and year of the Paul Revere's ride.
Absolutely.
American Revolution. We have April. Of course, April. It used to be Income Tax Day. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's changed this year. Although mine have been done. Are yours done?
Yeah.
Yeah, mine are done too. So.
Yeah. Month of April, that's when Lee surrendered to Grant. Of course, actually, back up. That's the year of the Civil War, or the month the Civil War started. So
that's right. Not far from where we are, Fort Sumter.
And then Joe Johnson surrenders to Sherman down in North Carolina. And
boy, it's a big month for history.
There you go. How about let's fast forward 78 years to 1947, and Jackie Robinson plays his first game, I think, at Ebbets Field, breaks the color barrier.
Wow. And, I think I saw the other day that it was the anniversary of Hank Aaron breaking the home run record. Is that true?
1974.
Was that in April?
Yes, it was. I happened to have a little TV. I lived at camp. I had a little bitty TV, got one station.
Let me see, out of Asheville.
Yeah, and I turned it on, and I'm not a big baseball fan, but the Braves game is on, and darned if he didn't hit his home run. So I happened to see it.
Wow. Wow, that's impressive. Yeah. I did not, but I still remember the news. It was a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
So, Gary and I don't do texting. Do you do texting, Gary?
Some, yeah.
Okay. I do some only because people try to get me that way and then I have to reply, but
right.
I don't use it often. But do you use those codes?
No, I don't even.
LOL.
The codes. Yeah. I have to ask some people sometimes what they mean.
Yeah, I mean LOL. You know what that means, like.
Does that mean laugh out loud?
Yeah. So that one, I got that one down. I don't know any others.
Yeah.
I saw the other day, and I'm not sure if you have a copy of it, some texting codes for seniors.
Yes, I looked at those.
So some of those are pretty good. I thought we could go over those and try to get Dr. Moore on the show.
Okay.
So here, do you got them in front of you or just me?
No, I don't.
I'll read a few of them. Okay, we won't take.
But before you do that, this whole Skype thing now that. Network, the TV, the television's doing it. They're all down to our level now. So we look just as good talking into our little boxes as they do looking into theirs.
Well, that's true. Because that's pretty, when they're doing that, that's low tech reporting. So that means we're now high tech reporting.
They have come on board to our way.
Go
Once again, Gary and Mark, here we are. We're the point of the spear.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. And you are the influencer. If you go to our website or our Facebook page, you'll see Gary has been modeling several different face masks.
Face mask, yep. Mm-hmm. Had them on today when I went shopping.
So how many days a week do you go out?
Well, today I went out because we went to get food because we're going to smoke this brisket, and then I had to go to the hardware store and get some good wood.
Wow,
better than what I had. So I just pop on the mask before I go in the store, and most people, what I noticed going in the morning is just about everybody over, hard to tell their age, and they got a mask on, but you're guessing 50 and over, they're wearing a mask.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've noticed the same thing too. And I've noticed more and more some of the people who work at the stores are wearing masks. Before they didn't wear any. But I'll tell you, I don't know what, of course, supermarkets are open and hardware stores. But go downtown where I live, it looks like a ghost town downtown. Most
Hendersonville like
the
that.
Same way.
Yeah.
Wow. So just a few texting for seniors, and then we'll take a break, get Professor Jim on, see what he has to say out in Arizona. So ATD, excuse me. This is one, ATD. So instead of LOL, ATD at the doctors.
Okay.
This next one's kind of sad. BFF. Used to be like best friends forever, but best friend's funeral. With this one is. Okay. BTW. Bring the wheelchair.
Okay.
BYOT. Bring your own teeth.
Yeah. Like.
All right. This next one I can get. FWIW.
What's that?
FWIW. Forgot where I was. Okay. All right. This next one's kind of long. GGPBL. GGPBL. Gotta go. Pacemaker battery low. I'm glad we actually, you and I don't have most of these things we're dealing with at the moment. Could be coming up. GHA. Got heartburn again.
Oh.
And this next one, I can appreciate this next one. TFT. Texting from toilet.
Yeah. Yep. Been there.
Been there. Yeah. Probably going to go there in a minute. All right. Let's take just a quick break. Gary, we'll see if we can get our good friend Jim on. We'll be right back. Okay.
Dean Jim. Is it Dean? He's a dean?
He is. Dean of our Western branch of our Gary and Mark Podcasting University. All right. We're going to pause and bring him on. And we are back. So, Gary.
Hey.
All right.
Hi there.
So we have with us, Gary, our good friend.
We got our West Coast, our western half of the.
We have beaches. We just don't have ocean out here in Arizona. Lots of sand.
That's true. So we have the dean of our Western campus for the Gary and Mark Podcasting University. And Gary, you went out on our own campus taking a tour of the parking lot while we were taking a break.
That's right. And what I did, actually, I flipped the laundry on the line.
That's good. Okay. Yeah. So Gary, Jim has a outdoor laundry, which a lot of us do, but he also has a outdoor shower.
Yeah.
Yeah. He likes to take a shower.
That's my cheap trip to the beach. I can pretend I'm at the beach.
Right. You get Jim send you some sand, and you take your shower out there, and you'd have all you need. Okay. So Jim, you probably don't know. We're going to send you one of these. Put it in front of the camera. We have new swag now. See if it goes.
Wait, that looks like it's two-tone color.
It is. It was no extra cost, so I decided, why not? So we're going to send you a couple of these to go with your Rabbit Island stickers. Gary,
the Rabbit Island's on my truck.
Okay. So Jim's here. Jim not only is he our dean, but last time we had him on the show, which was maybe 6 weeks ago, a month ago or so. He talked about the Aluminum Man Triathlon.
Yeah.
The triathlon for the rest of us. And I'm just wanting to know, Jim, now that we have this terrible virus everywhere, how has that made plans different for the team this year?
Well, I've talked to some of the athletes and winners from past years, and we're trying to do a stay-at-home version. So cornhole, Jenga. We're trying to look for other things that fit with the no timed events, beers available, no cardiovascular. We're trying to figure out a shelter version.
That's always, I love all that. Yeah.
We're trying to give back.
So, but you mean you're going to ask people to do these events in their own home?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like Gary could do Jenga, and I could drink the beer. What good?
Sounds like we could all be in our own homes drinking beer.
That's right. And it was even too early. I told Jim, I says, he said he's just getting ready. It's breakfast time where he is. We started this recording about 1-something p.m. Eastern, and he's on Mountain Time, but not daylight
Mountain in the winter, Pacific in the summer.
Oh my gosh.
I'm Pacific now. We don't do daylight savings. The way we deal with the clock is spring the same, fall remain.
Okay, I like that saying.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's how we adjust them.
Your poem's better than ours. And what day is it there? Is it April?
Oh, God. Yeah. Who knows?
So Jim is, we mentioned last time, a real professor.
Yeah.
And so we hear all these kids, because I was a teacher at school forever, but I never had to deal with any online schooling, and Jim apparently is a pro at it. So Jim, what's it like teaching online?
Well, I've been doing online for about 10 years. I started doing some online MBA, and it was some amazing work at the beginning. I literally had guys in foxholes. I had a captain in the military who was in a foxhole in Afghanistan occasionally doing online MBA.
My goodness.
So most of my students aren't doing foxholes right now, but my students are doing a combination of 2 months ago, face-to-face and online classes. And everything that I was doing this spring at this point was already online. I already finished my face-to-face. And so my students are really stressed out. They've got multiple people living in their houses. They might have family members that are sick, jobs that have changed. So I think maybe it's more the social part than the technical part, at least for my students, because we were already online. My wife teaches high school and at the community college, and all of her classes went from face-to-face to online. Yeah. And so that's been a huge, huge thing for her colleagues, her students. I've been doing technical support because I've been doing this for years for her, but a lot of her colleagues don't have that. And we've got a relatively big house. We used to have 4 kids living in the house. Now we've got one of them. So we've got studio, classrooms, and different rooms right now. And so we're really fortunate that we're able to deal with the work. But, my students, they're just stressed out. So I lived in Louisiana during Hurricane Katrina. It feels very similar in, everybody's very willing to help, a lot of empathy, sympathy going on.
So, wow. So luckily for your wife, she has you who's experienced, because I'm thinking some of these teachers, I guess these days they know how to use their computer, but if all of a sudden you told me, all right, tomorrow you're online, it would have taken me a while to get up to speed, because it took us 20 minutes to get you on Skype. I'm still not sure how we did it, but here you are.
And I wasn't much help.
And and you wouldn't say he was like late for class or diss him for that, for his picture not showing up. But I'm still back to students in the foxhole. What that was like, or did, instead of the dog ate my homework, a grenade took out my term paper. Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
But they had team projects. This team was very sympathetic. I've had in the past students like Naval Base at Guam, and the base was on lockdown, which was internet shutdown. And so they weren't able to turn in assignments. So you always give them some allowance, take care of those kinds of things.
So were you teaching those through Arizona State?
Right.
Okay. So today, when you're teaching Arizona State, do you have some sessions then where you are online with your students, like with Zoom at the same time, or everything's recorded and they just go on and find their assignments?
Mine are pretty much kind of canned. I have some recorded lessons that I do. Just yesterday, my large class, which is about 250 students, they turned in a term paper. So I've got to grade about 250 of those over the next couple days. But I'll give you an example. My daughter, she's a sophomore at ASU. she had a history class, and it used to meet Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And what they would normally do is the professor would lecture Monday and Wednesday, and Friday they'd have a discussion. So when they turned it to an online class, he's got his canned lectures on Monday and Wednesday, reading assignments. But Friday, they do a live Zoom session where people do post comments, he responds, there's discussion going on. So it's kind of a hybrid, but it's got that live during the scheduled time session. The classes that were normally scheduled to be completely online, they're asynchronous. Students can kind of jump in, jump out, view things on their own schedule, which is kind of the reason they did some of the online. And there are team projects that they might do, but they just have to coordinate with the 3 or 4 members of their team.
Have you been
So those are some of the things.
Have you been over to the campus lately?
I was there yesterday. My daughter had to move out of the dorm, and so she moved home a few weeks ago, but her stuff was still there.
Wow.
So we went there yesterday to get the last of her stuff. Parking lot, traffic, much, much emptier. I haven't really been to my office for about 3 weeks.
So in Arizona, is there an issue with no toilet paper, or is that just over here in the East?
It was a concern with no toilet paper. We didn't have a problem with it in our house, but some of our children. I do a lot of hiking. I drive around in my pickup truck. I normally have a roll sitting in the back seat. I've got a crew cab.
Yeah,
People have been mocking me for it. Now they're thinking I'm pretty wise. It's like, here's some currency in case I need to go through a toll booth, which we don't have any out here.
I'm thinking this could be the ideal time. You drive over the campus and you go into all the buildings and the bathrooms with a big bag and start grabbing up rolls of toilet paper, because no one there is going to need it. They're not there. And then you would have all kinds of collateral.
Yeah, I don't know if they've got security cameras. They might. I'm not in the buildings,
that would not
but
look good.
between
That's
the
true.
buildings.
That's true. That would not look good.
And if you got caught, you could say, actually, this stuff you see me with, I brought from my house. I was putting it
That's true.
in the building just when we do open,
Industrial grade single ply, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think I bought some of that the other day because all they had at the store. So it's been crazy. So when do you think things are going to get normal? What's your...
Our schedule is, I'll say normally in the spring, we're about 80-20, 80% face-to-face, 20% online. And the summer is reversed. 80% is online because a lot of students got internships. They go back home. I mean, we might have at ASU 30, 35, 40% out-of-state international students. And so a lot of the summer stuff is online. And our schedule right now is the summer is going to be completely online. They're still making a determination of what's going to go on for the fall.
And you do teach in the summer?
I do. I've got 2 classes in the summer. One will have about 60 students, a capstone strategy course. And then I've got a principles of management course, which could have about 150 students.
Well. So what advice do you have for Gary and me to continue our working up to the Aluminum Man Triathlon that we can do at home in our separate homes?
I think pacing. Pacing is an important thing. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint, or at least it's a nathon.
That's right. I like that. Yeah, say that word again.
Nathon. Yeah. Yeah, we'll just use the last 2 syllables.
Yeah.
So let me ask you. So you're also an attorney. Do you do any more attorney work?
No, I very clarify that. I have a law degree. I am not licensed to practice law.
Okay. Have you ever been licensed? Or you never took the bar?
No, I never really wanted to go to the dark side.
So if we asked you legal advice, you probably would not be able to give us good legal advice.
No. I mean, there's some things that business stuff. It's like somebody says, "Oh, what are the tax stuff?" It's like, well, I got an MBA and a PhD in business. I can tell you about that from that perspective. But from the fact that I took 3 tax law courses, I probably can't tell you from that because I'm not an attorney. So I'm always careful to kind of qualify things and say I'm not licensed, unlike some of our state legislators who they kind of exaggerate their credentials.
Well, I'll just ask you a simple legal question because Gary had this really great idea that we could, you may have heard us, that we could start this help the orphans fund, because Gary is an orphan and I'm an orphan. So we're thinking people will give money to orphans. They wouldn't give it to Gary. I mean, we've tried that bit. We've gotten a few bucks, but not much. Mm-hmm. But if we started to save the orphans or help the orphans, not really mentioning who these orphans were, do you think that would be legal?
It would be. You got to get a 501c3 designation, and so there's going to be some application, and it needs to be
only if we tell them it's tax deductible. They can just give us money.
Yeah, it could be a nonprofit that's not tax deductible. That probably would be easier. I mean, like my Boy Scout troop that my son was in, it's a nonprofit because they own some canoes and some other things, and so that they own stuff, but it's not a charitable nonprofit. Like my friend's condo association, they're a nonprofit. So there's a charitable nonprofits, and then there's the other nonprofits out there. So yeah, you could just say, it's a nonprofit, and send us the money, and we'll send you pictures of some orphans.
Well, so I got a picture when I was like 8, and Gary's got baby pictures or so.
Yeah,
but we weren't orphans then. That would be cheating. That would be.
Wait, maybe we're just false prophets.
But we're always trying to come up with ways to make money that are semi-legal.
Well, here we are. We're coming to you just like the folks on TV. Well,
so 19 cents a day or whatever they say.
Yeah. Hey, I've got one for you here, Jim.
Okay.
Like hiking, and are you guys having? We're having a problem here. They kind of put the woods, the national parks and the national forests, the support. Anyway, they kind of shut it down, which I think is good. They don't have the people to kind of cover things. But we still have a lot of folks deciding, that doesn't mean me. So trailheads are just covered up with cars and people and crowds. A wonderful writer for the Asheville Citizen Times, Karen Chavez, had a piece this last week about how, come on, folks, we need to kind of respect this social distancing and not be doing this. And I wonder if you guys are having trouble with that out where you are.
Yeah, we're having exactly the same problem. The Phoenix area, we have a lot of city parks that are actually mountains, great hiking things, and they're getting loved to death. The trailheads, exactly the same things. Scads of people. I haven't done any of that. I've done some biking. Yeah. And I know some paths where there's not a lot of people. My wife and I do some not hiking, just go for walks in the evening. Yeah. But I've actually cut back my hiking because the trailheads are too busy, and they've shut things down. Golf courses are open. That's a little controversial. I think it's no problem. The golfers, keep their distance. I think they got rid of the beer carts. Well, so maybe. Well, I think you pick one up at the clubhouse, and
or just stick them in your golf bag when you go out with some ice.
But it's I think people want to get out. We've got good weather for it, but there's just I think too many people that aren't just really thinking.
Yeah, you know what? Here, the neighborhoods and the local little parks are pretty empty. I can go walk into Hendersonville, and it's easy to keep the social distancing in the neighborhoods, and I'm not out in the national forest, but I'm getting my walk in, and people are friendly too. I noticed that people say hello, and spend more time visiting. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to actually, I think Gary and Jim wrap up the whole episode, so we're going to let Jim stay on here while we close out. So Jim, stay on here.
He's got like 250 papers to grade.
He probably does. He looks
nice to see what you actually look like, Jim.
I know.
You're the best looking one of us.
That's true.
I'm wearing plaid next time.
No, see,
I like the Hawaiian shirt.
This is my uniform. I like the Hawaiian shirt too. Yeah. So, but it has been great having you. We were with you live via phone, and so I guess this is via internet. But I love having a picture. This is great. So, we had it's a good episode, Gary. Want to thank our sponsors, and unfortunately, one of them had to close down. temporarily.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep, Green River Eddy's Tap Room.
Yeah.
At Saluda out
are they just closed for the duration or closed for good?
we hope. I'm assuming just the duration, but they tried to stay open as the retail when they could for limited people, and then their tap room, abiding by all the rules.
I'll tell you one thing they did out here, which I approve of. The restaurants have moved to more of a carry-out thing.
Yeah.
And the governor let them change the liquor license that they now can sell liquor to go. So I can go to the Mexican restaurant and I can get a couple margaritas along with my chimichanga.
I've heard of that some places. I was thinking, how you going to keep people from drinking that in their car on the way home, though?
Well, he used to live in Louisiana where they had drive-thrus.
That's true.
We have drive-through liquor stores here. I told somebody in Louisiana about that, and they thought that was wildly libertine.
Well, I think they probably have them in Louisiana, too. But so anyhow, Green River Eddies, we haven't been there in a while because last time we recorded was on your porch. So they were not open that day. The other time we were recording in the morning, we couldn't be there. It's been like 6 weeks since we've been there. So I'm thirsty. Missed that place.
Yeah, the craft breweries out here, they're doing a lot more to go and such, but they're setting up a virtual beer fest in the next week.
So how's that going to work?
And well, there's T-shirts that you can get, and everybody's going to have like a kind of a Zoom meeting where they hoist a few of their craft beers and talk to each other, and they're trying.
I would say there's lots of virtue in a virtual beer fest. With that.
That's right.
Well, I've been doing some of these, Zoom happy hours. We've had a few of those. We're having more of them.
Yeah. Well, why not? Got to make the most of it. So
our other sponsors.
Other sponsors. We got LJ Meyers.
LJ Meyers.
Professional White Devil releases. And who are other two, Gary?
Well, we got the Big Whizz Pocket Buddy, which nobody needs to use right now because you never have to stand in line to take a leak right now.
That's true. That's true. And also Rabbit Island Resort.
Rabbit Island Resort.
Hair better.
Which is COVID-19 free.
That's true. We did have our real show attorney, not a real attorney, but we had on Joe Clark. And he said that that's true. We have not had any illness there, nothing. Yeah, nobody.
I've heard that people are trying to get into Antarctica because there's no cases down there.
Well,
and they figured out why, because it's so isolated.
That's a good one. All right. So we hope next time we get on, we will not be dealing with this, but I have a feeling it's going to be around a while. I don't know. I hope not. So it's been a good episode.
It has.
And
good.
When we go off, Jim, just stay there for a second, but we'll just closing things out. So I'm Mark.
I'm Gary.
And folks, don't forget.
I'm Jim.
Yeah, there's Jim. Jim Moore, Dr. Jim Moore. So don't forget to like us, share us, subscribe, follow, all those good things. Tell your friends.
And one more thing to add.
Yeah.
Let's all, when you have your libation tonight, say a little word for our old late friend John Prine.
Oh, yeah.
Wonderful.
Wonderful guy. Yeah. In fact, I just heard they were saying on, where was it? Something, NPR someplace listening, how that song, Hello in There, what's the name of it?
Yeah.
That he came up with that because he was a mailman.
Yeah.
And he would see mail be piling up in some house, and he would go up to the window door and knock on and say, hello in there. And that's kind of how the song came to him.
Yeah, and he was only like 23 or 24 when he wrote that.
Really?
Yeah.
That's still one of my favorites.
What a treasure.
Yeah. Yeah. John Prine. We'll all have a drink to him tonight. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks everybody for being here. And we'll look forward to seeing and listening or hearing from people. GaryandMark.com. Don't forget us. Signing out.